Unepolo? The answer is obviously Pokemon. One of every Pokemon would destroy one of 1 billion lines. It's not even close. There's probably several Pokemon that could basically one-shot the Pokemon or the lines by themselves. And then you've got to remember that regardless of what rules you agree upon, whether it's game rules, you could use game rules, which would make things harder for Pokemon. You could use canon rules, which you have several Pokemon that could literally one-shot the lions. If you use, like, other rules, or you try to ground it otherwise, like, there's just no possible outcome where the lions don't get absolutely wrecked. Like, Macargo just has to exist. If you read his Pokédex entry, Macargo is literally hotter than the surface of the sun. Macargo just has to exist near the lions and they lose. Arceus is literally God. Mewtwo is basically a man-made god. Like, the numbers in favor of the Pokemon are just... Honestly, it doesn't even matter what generation of Pokemon you use. I'm pretty sure there's at least one super broken Pokemon in every single one. The Pokemon get wrecked. Or the lions get wrecked, no matter what. It's so free. The only thing the lions have going for them is numbers, because 1 billion is a lot. Like a lot. But it's still not enough. So the lion Pokemon debate is one that happened under the basis that it's one of each Pokemon versus 1 billion lions. And 1 billion is a lot, mind you, but... Yep, you got it. A lot of Pokemon have moves by themselves that could probably one-shot a significant portion of the lions. Like, Dialga has, like, Roar of Time, which is basically an apocalyptic power move that... Like, that alone could wipe out a pretty decent portion. And that's just Dialga's one move, and he can still use it multiple times. Like, the only reason this is even semi a debate is because humans have a hard time processing just how much 1 billion is. Rayquaza using Draco Meteor can just, like, there are so many moves that just by themselves could just... What about no legendary Pokemon versus the lions? Even then the Pokemon win. Even then. Macargo exists. Macargo is literally hotter than the surface of the sun. All he has to do is just be in the same... Like... within a few million miles of the lions and they win. Like, it's so free. I don't care what rules you use. Even in game rules, the lions get bodied. They just get less bodied because of the whole PP thing. The lions will run into something like Steelix and then what? Like, the best thing the lions could ever hope for is, like, a stalemate by virtue of there just being way too many of them. But even that is just unrealistic. The very best strategy is still unrealistic. Just think about that conceptually. Let's go! Oh! I don't think it was on purpose, but... Got the shield cancel Raptor boost. That's so good. It's the only thing Falcon has that's actually plus on block. But, like, it's so impractical, but if it can one day get to a point where it's not impractical, it's gonna be so sick. The second safest thing Falcon has is -4, which is perfectly spaced. Nair. Which is solid. Everything else is at least -7. ZSS is... she's one of the cooler top tiers, I think, so... I like her. I'm just glad that we have more characters like that in this game than, like, other things that we had more of in Smash 4. For starting with Captain Falcon, the main thing is just learning your bread and butter combos, which is going to be anything that involves and starts with Nair 1, your down throw follow-ups, make sure that you learn how to juggle people using plenty of up airs, and position yourself properly so you can get more of them, and or other things as well. And also learn your like down air into knee and things like that. Otherwise, make sure that you focus a lot of your practice on counteracting what your opponent is going to do in neutral based on their character, rather than trying to impose anything on your opponent. You have to remember that good Falcon play doesn't necessarily have a good game plan to impose on your opponent, so most of the time your game plan is going to be based on counteracting your opponent. Learn matchups so that you know how best to do this, because Falcon is quite good at doing this, but it is something he has to do. Oh, I'm so good. Playing disadvantage, in the most general sense, is kind of like playing poker, where if your opponent doesn't know what's in your hand, it's that much harder for them to properly predict you. And when you use a jump, you press a button, or use any other resource that you have a finite amount of, that is equivalent to putting a card on the table. You've represented that there is one less thing you can possibly be doing. And so because of that, from your opponent's perspective, that's one less thing that they have to account for now. You want to maintain the possibility of as many options as possible for as long as possible. So that even if you're going to do the same thing every time, at least your opponent has to realize that you're going to do the same thing every time, rather than simply reacting to something. Because from that perspective, unless they have a hard read, you're basically forcing them to guess from one of however many options depending on the character and situation. But like, in general, if you're not doing anything, then they're like, is he going to jump? Is he going to throw an attack? Is he going to air dodge? Is he going to side B? Is he going to up B? Is he going to do some combination of the above? Is he going to do nothing? That's a lot of potential cards. Oh my god, kaboom! The vacuum effect is so broken! Oh my god. Alright, there we go. Bringing it back. Next Saturday? Cool. Well, I might be there. Maybe. Then edgeguarding Luigi as Falcon is so free! Alright, fine, I deserve that. Hey, Bon. Oh my goodness. Well, if you're curious about Bun Bun,